Hang on. Can't. Already sorry about that, everybody. The screen was dark and blank. You could not see anything, so I had to refresh real quick. But regardless of that, good morning, Awoken. Thrilled to be back with you once again on this Monday morning here in Washington, D.C. Low, groggy, gloomy, sprinkling on and off a little bit, some rain, some more aggressive rain earlier in the morning, so wanted to wait a second or two, but we were back at the U.S. Capitol today, going to be hanging out, taking y'all's questions, getting to know you guys a little better, so would love to get to know you. Our main topics are going to be continuing ongoing discussion with war in Iran, and also we're going to be talking about an allegation made over or a claim, I should say, from Tucker Carlson over the weekend, late last week, in discussions with Carlson believes he's under investigation or has had his phone records examined, something of that nature. So we're also going to be talking about Mr. Carlson and his maybe concerns with some surveillance. And we're also going to be teeing up, doing a little preview for tonight's topic. So usually we do Tuesday and Wednesday. However, this week we'll do Monday and Wednesday. Tonight we're going to be talking all about Ireland and the Irish and other culture, to do a St. Patrick's Day special for you guys. We're also going to be we'll be bringing on a guest for the show, my friend from Ireland. I'm sure she'll do great. We're going to be talking all about Irish culture, Irish history, whether it's Conor McGregor or the Great Potato Famine or any of these big Irish events in history. We're going to be talking about them. So if you're here for the first time, please leave the video a like. Please hit that subscribe button. That's the best way you can support the channel right now. We're just hanging out with you in front of the U.S. Capitol building. Got the Supreme Court right here. Going to be taking your questions. Feel free to leave a comment, drop a question down in the comment section below, and we'll be hanging out with y'all this morning. Yeah, glad to be here and looking forward to waking up with you all on this Monday morning here in the nation's capital. 200 YT says hello. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Are you interested in politics at all? What's up, Z? Big man, what's going on? Good morning, Z. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Awoken, I should say. We have awoken for another day in this country and in our political system. Okay, and we are here in front of the U.S. Capitol, hanging out with you guys, showing you guys some views. Sir says hi. Hello, sir. Malik, hello, Malik. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. Thrilled to have you here. And a question from Josh asking if I am a Mormon. I am not a Mormon. Good question, though. No worries, Josh. Yeah, feel free to ask away. These morning sessions are for any kind of question possible. So anything's really on the table. Got a couple of other comments from Jim. Jim says, I heard America has the highest rates of narcissism, but Northern Virginia and DC is the highest in the US. Makes sense. Yeah, a lot of people here are quite narcissistic. And ADZ33 says, do you work for the CIA? I do not work for the CIA. Good question, though. A lot of people ask that question. I used to work for the government, but I used to work in the Senate. I worked in the Senate for 2 years for a U.S. senator. And now I work in the private sector now, and I host these live streams, get to know people, and all that stuff. So Emma says, thank you for supporting Iran. Good morning, Emma. Thanks for joining the stream this morning. Happy to have you here. Please drop a sub if you're also interested in Iran coverage. We talk about Iran on the show a lot, so would love to have you around for future streams. Same with everyone else here. If you're new to the channel, on here for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. We ascended over 500 subs this past weekend, so we're only ever growing and elevating the Awoken each and every day. Would love to have all of you here for the long run, because this isn't stopping anytime soon at all. Hope y'all's as well. Yep, I think we're all doing pretty good this morning, Emma. Hey everybody, if you're just now joining, join at ADZ23, Emma and Jim and Josh down in the comment section. A question from Mary TV13 says, you seem too employed to be doing a YouTube live. I always got like DC, right? I still have work, but in the mornings I do these lives and streams, help build my channel, help talk politics with you all. And then ideally it would be awesome if this could become the main employment position, but we're still ways away from that. We're still grinding. We're still, we're going to be taking your questions in front of the US Capitol. No problem, but would love if you hit that subscribe button. And we're hanging out. We're building the community. We ascended over 500 subscribers this past weekend. So would love to have you guys on the next streams. But back to employment though. I did used to work in the U.S. Senate, so I do have experience working in this building. Vinny says, are you ready for the market crash today? And Z follows up with, why do you believe the market will crash today? I'm not sure if I think it will continue to become stressed further, but I'm not sure if it's going to crash today. But maybe, who knows, right? You seem to be pretty, seem to have your thumb on the pulse when it comes to that. Alan Mellon says hello from Australia. Hello, Alan. Thank you for joining the stream. Hello from Washington, D.C., here in the capital of the United States. Thrilled to be with you this morning, Alan. Thank you for joining. Hammerman says, stop the corrupt senator, fall to stop war. And Lamucci says hello from Afghanistan. Hello from Washington, D.C. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. And Hiroko says, hello from the United States. Hello from the United States Capitol. Love if you guys all hit that like button. Drop it. Also subscribe to the channel. Best way you can support this stream. And let's get back up to Emma. Emma had another question. Emma says, what are your thoughts on Washington, D.C. not being part of the of the United States and owned by the Federal Reserve. So, yeah, you're right in a sense that they do not have direct electoral representation for Congress. They can vote for president. They have 3 electoral votes, and they also have a House member that can only vote on committee. Her name is Horton something, and she can vote on committee, but she can't vote on bills or legislation on the House floor. And they don't have senators either. So they are the people that do live within like this territory are kind of neutered when it comes to direct political representation. But it's also the way that it's just always been that way as well. Like the founders didn't even start them off with the electoral votes, the 3 electoral votes. I think that was the 23rd Amendment to the United States Constitution, maybe, that the electoral votes were added in. So, good question. A lot of people that live here are upset that they don't have direct electoral representation, but that's just kind of the way it is sometimes. Of course, Emma. Yeah, thanks for the question. Good question. Let's switch up the poll as well. We've been talking a lot about regime change and war in Iran. Let's do something different, because I saw this weekend. I was on Twitter a little bit and saw that Tucker claimed that his phone was being gone through or something of that nature to check, because they were thinking he was maybe talking with the Iranians or whatever. So we'll be talking about that a little bit today. So feel free to add any conversation to that you may feel. David Moore says, good morning, David. Welcome back, brother. Thanks for joining the stream once again. Appreciate you, big man. Bruce is on the loose too, says, go to jail for what? Why should he go to jail? So I'm not sure if you saw, Bruce, the other day, Tucker released a little video of himself saying that either the government or affiliated with the U.S. had been going through his messages or something, and this is in regards to him maybe speaking with the Iranians and him maybe not registering under FARA. That's his video. That isn't me. I'm just kind of relaying what he said. So you can also check out his page as well. I'm sure he has some stuff on there too. Okay, let's go to Stephen. Stephen has a question. I wonder how America managed to come up with the most complex legal/political system in the world, and it is just the most convoluted and just plain a bad system in the Western world. Tucker just trying to go super hard to be relevant, I reckon. No, sir, I didn't see. That's why. Yeah, no worries, Bruce. Good question, though. It's something that just kind of this past weekend, it was he started discussing it. So, good question. And Z says it seems like he's trying to get ahead of something. If they are going through your messages, you would not know. Persian version says F Tucker, and Tansy 2145 says your audio is absolutely impeccable. Not sure how you're doing that outside. Thank you very much. Just a little, yeah, I always got to be on my best game. So thank you for the compliment. Appreciate you. David Moore says, what do you think of the Rothschilds' takeover of the Territorial bank system? Yeah, they're always trying to expand. That's for sure. They're always trying to conquer and take over more of the percentage of the pie. So not surprising to me. Good question, though, David. And James says, for exposing truth, why Tucker might go to jail. Everybody, we are in front of the U.S. Capitol today talking about Tucker Carlson, talking about the war in Iran, talking about other geopolitical and political issues. So if you're here for the first time, would love if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. That's the best way you can help us grow the page, grow the channel further. We are doing a little, going to kind of tee up tonight's episode, is that we're doing an episode about Ireland. We're doing another geopolitical episode, a country deep dive breakdown about Ireland, doing a St. Paddy's Day special tonight. So when I worked in the Senate, when I worked in this building, made buddies with a good pal, and she is back in Ireland, and she's involved in Irish politics, and we're going to be talking. Yeah, she's going to join me, be our guest on the show tonight. So you'll definitely want to come check that out. Buffalo Bill says, what happened? Who is Tucker? Tucker Carlson, the right-wing media podcaster. He used to be on Fox a couple years ago. Yeah, someone either tipped him off or he knew that CIA or other personnel was going through his phone, maybe in concerns of talking to the Iranians. Nico, Low Tank CU, says, nice tie. Thank you very much for the compliment. Love this tie. My before I moved out to DC to start my work, start my internship in the senator's office, little brother got this tie for me. So it's kind of my first OG tie I've ever really had in DC. So I take good care of it, wear it all the time. Dog Football says, what did Tucker do to get to jail? So he hasn't been imprisoned yet. Or not that he even will. He just mentioned this on his show, or maybe not his show, but he made a little episode, a mini couple minute long episode at least. America First. But he made a little mini episode and saying that, yeah, they're looking into my phone records, my phone members, whatever. Or that's his claim, at least. Like, yeah, we can't necessarily verify it per se, but that's his side of the story. That, yeah, no U.S. government personnel has like confirmed anything about this, at least from what they're saying. Last time I looked. NGAX says Tucker finally mined and most Americans respect now. Fight says allegedly. Roman 1117. I believe that's 6. No, that's 5. Okay, it's just 5 ones. With a bald eagle American flag emoji. Pepper flag, or excuse me, Pepper USA flag emoji. Steven says, yeah, they didn't have to explain. I've heard the whole mud flood theory, quite ridiculous. Biz says, Tucker getting locked up before Epstein's crew. LOL, you guys are funny. David Moore says, but we have a dig up a lot of old history. Something must have happened. Steve says, I just thought it was funny. Biz with FDT. NGA says, I was saying he earned my respect. Dog Football says F those that say FDT. All right, so we got a little showdown going on in the chat here. Nature Boy 3200 says so he is accused of treason. I don't think there's anything officially accused. It's more of just someone tipped him off, or he got tipped off that he's being investigated or looked into. His phone messages were or have been. He used a video statement this weekend claiming that. So just for clarification, the U.S. government personnel has not made a comment on this. So it's just kind of his word right now. Okay. Fight says allegedly the Democrats were looking for a way to look up Charlie Kirk. David Moore says look at older maps. Then Jacobs 1637 says Tucker hasn't violated anything. James says thought Trump and Tucker were close. Yeah, I still think like there was an image of them released maybe 2 weeks ago, and I think they were in the Oval Office together. He had Trump, or Tucker was standing right next to Trump at the Oval Office desk. So I think they're still tight up to a point, at least, right? So hey everybody, if you're just now joining the stream, would love if you gave the video a like. Please subscribe to the channel. That's the best way you can support us right now. Just started this channel a couple months ago. We go around Washington, D.C. We talk to you guys, show you guys buildings, all that. We also host week shows at night, right? We talk about politics and countries and geopolitics. So let's see. Il Govertor says, nice suit, buddy. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, always got to be dressed and fly. Dapper. Arsenal fan says, Israel is holy and Israel's are the chosen people. Here, let's see a couple other comments. Nature Boy 3200 says, you're not explaining this well, so what if you heard the gov is listening? That's not a crime. Well, so I'm not, the poll question is not to really say he is going to, it's really just so we kind of chat about the thing. But like there's suspicion or just something that maybe that some people are thinking is that if they're looking into his messages, then why, right? Why would they be looking into his messages? And some people are thinking, well, he's the government's trying to cover something up, or someone's trying to cover something up, and that they might just arrest him and keep him quiet would be the thing. Okay. Clash of Clans edit says hello, go from this place Iran is striking right now. Is Mike Cucumber says, is Iran still, quote, not a war, end quote? I'm calling it one because it's a regime change operation. That's what the president said during the initial kind of call to action or whatever the night we attacked. It's in hopes of regime change and encouraging the Iranian people to overtake their government buildings and stuff like that. Z says it's ironic that Tucker's father headed the CIA propaganda machine, Voice of America, and Tucker's carrying on the family business. Govertor says, the red, white, and blue. Absolutely, man. Steve says, Steve and Dave are talking. Dog Football says, tell Congress declares not a war. David, or Clash of Clans says, Iran is striking White Palace. Stay tuned. It says, can you go into Congress and tell them they should be America first, not Israel first? One of these days we will. One of these days we'll have a day that we just go inside the congressional building and look at all the offices, right? See how many like offices have Israeli flags outside of them, or have other pro-Israel stuff, and maybe see like what other countries, right? I think Tlaib has the Palestinian flag outside of her office. So we'll do that for all of the members of Congress. Z says, how does he know that they were looking into him? Was he tipped off by his friends in the CIA? I think that's another good question, right? Or it's either Tucker, someone told him, or he's not telling the truth himself. Which something like this would be kind of ballsy to joke about, right? It wouldn't be something that you'd think about kind of goofing off with. 8574 says, America's not a democratic country, or if yes, America's not a democratic country. Fight says, Al Green, off the cuff, confirms Charlie Kirk was being spied on. Huh. I haven't seen, did he tweet that? I haven't seen that yet. I don't not believe you. It's just, I just haven't seen it. James says, yes, exactly. Tell them. Deck, play-by-play, USA, USA, USA. James says, America first. David Moore says, I thought there were two. The Eptein Files. Duke Murphy, leave Tucker alone. Regime change project. Biz says, why is Trump taking advice from Kushner when he's an even government employee? Dog says, leave Tucker alone. Jason says, lies, he won't say anything. Fight says, step 1, step 2, 3, called it 2013. Dog Football says, always want to ask when they ask if you USA first. You say USA first or Ukraine first. Dog says, protect Tucker at all costs. Adding that we must protect Tucker. And then Steve and David are getting after it. Hammerman says Iran has the right to defend themselves against American aggression and oppression. United Nations, Chapter 2, page 4. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Good morning. If you're just now joining the stream, would love if you hit that like button, leave the video a like. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel while you're at it. That's the best way you can support me. We host daily. Last week, we did 5 days a week. We did 5 streams just like this last week, 5 days. We went probably around 2 hours for each of them. So we did about 10 hours of just talking and hanging out with you guys on the streets of Washington, D.C. We walked to the Capitol. We walked to Chinatown last week. And a whole bunch of other good stuff. So we're here. We also held 2 anchor shows last week. Like we're hosting one tonight. So if you're around at 8:15 tonight, we're going to be talking about Ireland for the entire episode, the history of Ireland, doing a St. Patrick's Day special. So would love if you guys joined that, hung out with us tonight as well. J says United States of Israel. E9K says, hey, what's up, bro? Nice to see you again. Is Trump in that building right now? I don't believe so. And Thin Wallet says, jail for what? Free speech? So this is the U.S. Capitol building. It's not the White House. So this is where the elected members of Congress will work, right? So like this is the U.S. Senate right here, the actual Senate building. That's where they deliberate legislation, they vote on legislation, and like right over here, it's the House side of the. We'll walk over here as well, but over here is the House side of things. Darn, it's starting to rain too. Shoot, dude, come on, man. All right, so that's the house side over there. Here, I'll get a little closer, actually. Why not? Richard says, don't care if he goes to jail. Um, Rico says, oh, the house side, so Trump's right over there, right? Close. So the U.S. House is the one of the titles for the lower chamber in the U.S. Congress of the deliberative body, or the bodies of Congress, right? It's a there's two houses, there's two separate houses of the Congress. There's a House and a Senate. So we're out here hanging at the U.S. House of Representatives building. You got like the House office buildings over here. You're just gonna have people out walking around as well. Melk says, shout out to Tucker, he's awesome. Be Pish says, can you remove the poll from your page? It's annoying. Says the buildings look cool. Josiah Moore, 8017 says, he is a compulsive liar, greedy as the worst goblin in any fantasy world or game. Butter Egg Productions, 9996 says, why would he? Oh, why would he be a rat? Jay? Some people are just kind of speculating that line because Tucker, at least someone told him, or he is suspecting that the U.S. government is going through his phone. I'm reading his messages. He's been like, we know he interviewed I believe. Yeah, I think he hosted an interview with the president of Iran last summer, which isn't illegal or any means, but some people are thinking he's in touch with the Iranians or something. But I listen to Tucker a good deal. Who do you guys listen to the most, would you say? Butter Egg says, so I don't like him. Lock him up. Sounds familiar. Gabe Macho 3650 says Nick all the way. Exxon says thou teach him to buy Apple and use Google. I saw some of the Jake Paul and Trump stuff. I didn't watch the interview though. Milk says I like Bill Maher. He's funny sometimes. Does Moore 8017 says, why has the executive been given so much power, and asks if I'm a Republican. Yes, so I'm definitely right wing, but everyone is welcome on the channel though. Like there's probably 15 to 20% of the people I'd say on here are probably left wing, which kind of makes the conversation interesting a lot of times. So everyone, no matter where you are, no matter what you believe, is welcome to subscribe and like the video and hang out with us for sure. We won't kick you out just because you think different. Which really the main, even though it is right wing, it is America first ultimately at the end of the day. So any policy or any bill or policy that doesn't help America or put America first should just be rejected. Doesn't matter what it is, honestly. It's just unacceptable that if there's taxpayer dollars being spent or sent to something, that if it's not directing or impacting Americans in a positive way, it's just unacceptable. So Gabe says, are you a Fuentes fan? I know of him, right? I've seen some of his stuff. We're just I'd say we're doing our own thing right now. I like listening to Tucker. I try to listen to as many people as possible just to hear different views on the right. So yeah. Brody says neither left or right puts America first and adds that Tucker is trash. Milk says Candace Owens lost her mind. Yeah, see, the thing is with Candace is I wish, it's obviously her show, right? She's allowed to talk about what she wants, but the Charlie Kirk stuff, that was 6 months ago now. Like, I get it. If one of my best friends died like that, I'd probably lose my mind too, right? You know, I'm not, right? Yeah, I'm not trying to make fun of her in that way, but it's been 6 months now, and the whole thing's weird, right? We know that maybe there's something going on there, maybe there's not, but it's been 6 months now, so I'm just not sure what else she can kind of squeeze out of that orange. Yeah, Z says she lost the plot. Milk says, I think both sides low-key are full of poop. Island Life says, Jake Paul, great politician. What's up, Island? Nice to see you again, big man. Thanks for joining the stream. $8017 Josiah says, you have been making the best Republican channel on Making Sense. Thank you very much. Appreciate your compliment there. Would love if you'd subscribe to the channel so you can join us for the next streams. Man, my hair, dude. There we go. That's good enough. Let's see. E9K says, David Moore, India is improving for sure, but I still prefer the USA because USA is still quite advanced in infrastructure, plus the overpopulation sucks. E9K says, what's up, Island Man? AN1817 says, United States military innocent, Iranian sailors and 175 girls, 150 sailors. If you could pass one law of your making, what would it be and why? That's a good one. One law. I don't know. I'm pretty keen on mass deportations personally. Yeah, probably immigration laws. Also, probably, I honestly, what I do is I'd have no foreign, yeah, every foreign country or foreign lobby has to register under FARA or something. So like APAC would have to register immediately. Island Life says, if you get popular enough, we should party. Based and based, says Z. Thanks, brother. Josiah says, I see my Senator Mark Haley sees the writing on the wall. He was a J6er, but he has actually started to fight for the people instead of the billionaires. Sam says, what's this channel about? So this channel is about gathering a critical consciousness of people that are wary of the current situation the country finds itself in and wants to propose solutions that put America first. And also, it's also for teaching, learning about the world, right? So tonight's episode, we're doing a show on Ireland. We're doing a St. Patrick's Day special. We're just going to be talking all about Ireland. I'm bringing on my friend when I used to work in the Senate here. Made good friends with her. And we are going to be discussing Ireland tonight. She's from the country. And we also walk around DC. We take your questions. We debate politics. We discuss politics as well. And I also go to protests on the weekends and do man on the street interviews. I talk to people at protests and events. So, yeah, we talk politics. We hang out. We're building a strong community now. Like, we ascended over 500 subscribers last weekend. So soon enough, we'll do a 500 subscriber special just for you guys, so you guys can get to know me a little better. But yeah, so would love if you subscribe to the channel and joined us for the next stream, man. Great question, though, Sam. Hiroko says, well, before that, I was going to say everyone gets a goth baddie girlfriend, but I like the foreign lobby kick out much better. I'm a change my answer to that. Awesome, bro. Yeah, would be nice, but maybe let's focus on some countrywide stuff first. Gates says APAC needs investigating and probably dismantling. CWAG says the worst groups are coming here. Island Life responds to David. Everything is going great, man. Mastodon compliance with tax cattle systems. Island bro, can I come to your island? It seems peaceful. CWAG says, I don't know why kings in history wouldn't go to war for Jewish gold. You're a king. You don't need money. 8107 says, oop, that's gone. Ali Witcher, Alfie Witcher, 5157, and members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. 46, you can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make them slaves for life, but you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly. Billionaires aren't kings and don't control the people and economy. When you're king, everything is yours in that country. Island Life says strict age limit on the island unless you're a politician. And Sam says, do you think Qatar funding to mold narrative here? Are you asking if I'm receiving money from Qatar? I haven't received any money for this channel from anything yet. I've only put money towards it. We're getting there. We're over the 500 subscribers, so but maybe for like I'm sure some people in the government get Qatari money. Boomerang 90 says, oh, didn't read mine. Boomerang, sorry, this is the first message I've seen of yours. Maybe try to go back and, like, when you're retyping your message, put like a number instead of a letter or something, because it probably got auto-filtered. Twisted Soul says, where's Qatar? The Arsenal fan says, maybe you are receiving money from China or Iran. Yeah, man. Right now, we're probably around 520 subscribers on YouTube. I don't think they'd want to start paying me to put out pro-Iranian propaganda at this level. I'm here for you guys. Boomerang 90 says, one, MAGA is just Scientology for people who can't afford Scientology. Hiroko says, how do you feel about United States expansion? Like, do you want Greenland acquisition, Alberta joining Venezuela, forcible annexation, and others? Yeah, so the Maduro thing, we talked about Maduro here like back in January when that whole deal was happening. And there definitely is some kind of a, yeah, like if they had ties with the Chinese and the Iranians and the Russians, right? Like they're our main adversaries right now. And if they're able to get like a proxy more or less over here on our side of the hemisphere, then it makes sense to remove Maduro and make the Venezuela regime compliant with our demands. Same with Cuba too, right? Like if they can't, if they're not going to be right on us, then I think, or right by our side, then I don't see a point in having them be hostile towards us. So the Western Hemisphere stuff, I'm more or less fine with, as long as it's not like we're talking 20-year regime change war. Like if they could Maduro, if they could pull a Maduro in Cuba and make Cuba like the next Venezuela, then I don't see any why we shouldn't do that. If it's quick and easy and doesn't take any, yeah, if we don't lose anybody and it takes less than like a day, yeah, right. It didn't even take that particularly long. I think that makes sense. So good question though. Hosea says, I hope you would get on one of the liberal streams with the liberals and that debates. You are very good at actually debating respectfully. I could recommend you. Might sway some minds. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for your kind words this morning. Twisted Soul says people want the truth, but that's the first victim in war. Arsenal fan says if you defend Tucker Carlson, you might be receiving money from China or Iran. Z says Cuba up next with flex bicep emoji. Yeah, man. Yeah, like if I don't see a point, like especially with how massive of an empire we're becoming, we shouldn't take shit from anybody like that, honestly. Now, I think the reason that you guys might be like, whoa, he's pro-regime change in some countries. Well, they're in our hemisphere. They're in our direct sphere of influence, to where countries in the Middle East are not. So, and also these countries over here are a lot weaker than Iran and some of the other countries, right? So, last time I checked, I didn't think Cuba had a big proxy network throughout the Caribbean, right? Or that they had a nuclear hedge program or a bunch of ballistic missiles. So that's also why too. Rick Young says Carlson tells the truth. Island Life says, are you going to fight for me when the time comes? You know, with how loyal you've been, Island Life, it would be tough if you like disappear or go away. I'd be pretty sad, man. So no, we definitely want you around. So I think we'll go battle. Twisted Soul says all the propaganda is coming out. It's hilarious. Truth be told says Tucker Carlson has been compromised. Sam says your views on Iran war. So like, especially if we do boots on the ground, I'm not in support of that at all. I don't think there is a reason for U.S. to want to attack Iran, attack the nuclear weapons hedge. I've said that a couple times, right? We don't want more countries on Earth having nukes. That's like more of a this building priority. That's more of like the institution, the compromise, and whatnot. But other than them not obtaining nuclear weapons, then what's it matter if they have ballistic missiles that can, they can't even reach us. They don't have ICBMs, so I think that's more of a Israeli wish list item with Iran, personally. Especially when the president, promised America first, promised no new wars in the Middle East in particular. So, all right. Twisted Soul says, what nuclear weapons? You eating up the propaganda? No, I'm saying that if we supposedly bombed their nuclear facilities last June and they were obliterated according to the government, so I don't see why we had to attack them this time, because if they were obliterated, then there's no real there's really nothing, no reason for doing it this time, right? So hopefully that I can clarify my position a little bit there with you, Twisted Soul. Okay, someone wants me to scroll up. Yeah, I'm gonna try to look for it. There's a lot of chats this morning. Bro, what do you think would happen if the whole world was one country? Man, wouldn't that be insane, right? It would basically be kind of about kind of maybe break off to what the countries kind of are today. So like if there was one world government, then basically like, the Muslims and the Christians, and like then in between those groups, right, you have other groups, and then like Chinese, they'd want their own state, right? So it might just kind of turn into what the world is right now, except maybe there's not so many, maybe Africa doesn't have as many countries as it does, or maybe the Middle East isn't as divided potentially, but who knows, right? That's just kind of wishful thinking. And Island Bro says Iran has WMDs and a nuke. Trust me, bro. Funland Adventure says there's no nuke, dude. It's all about oil. Yeah, and honestly, like at this point, it's probably, yeah, like the nuclear stuff that was supposedly ended last June. You know, the sites were obliterated and destroyed. So then Washington's priorities are now done. Nothing else really matters as long as they can't get the nuke. And you're telling me that they were able just to rebuild that quickly. So yeah, I don't think this time it's definitely not about nuclear capabilities. E9K says, thanks for answering. Of course, bro. Yeah, good question, man. Thanks for tuning back into the stream once again. So yeah, guys, if you have buddies that you think might enjoy this stream or other politics in general, please send my channel their way and have them subscribe. That would be a phenomenal way that we can expand the channel. Also, if you're new to the channel and enjoying this conversation we're having, I'm trying to engage with all of you guys. Yeah, taking your guys' questions. So please hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the political conversation. Leave the video a like. We're here 5 days a week, usually talking politics in DC with you guys. So would love for you guys to subscribe and join for the next streams. Here, let's check out some other comments. WTF over 2 says, this time they had concepts of nuclear progression. Trump just made that they are smarter than him. Yeah, and no, yeah, it's definitely, that wouldn't be the main thing this time. So, Death Monkey says Tucker is better than anyone still on Fox. Like, if you take him with a mound of salt, he's pretty entertaining. Josiah says MAGA might call you a rhino. Yeah, they may be, but, you know, at this point, if we're not trying to fight for the truth, then what are we doing here in DC and in politics in general, right? So, yeah, people that pose you are just going to call you dummy and call you names no matter what. So, just something you got to get used to. Trust me, I've been doing this enough time now, long enough, even though it's only been a couple months, there's been trolls and whatever. So just got to remain tough, right? I know there's like-minded people like me out there. So that's why I started the channel, so we could really all kind of find each other and unite a little bit. Jeeper 1969 says Trump said he took out Iran's nuclear capability forever, then a month later attacked, saying that they were ready to nuke us. LOL. Nikola Tesla. Hey, what's up, Nikola Tesla? Welcome back, bro. Thanks for joining the stream again today, man. What's Tucker's situation? Can you explain? I'm out of the loop. So there's a lot of... Tucker released like a video statement this weekend, and he was talking about that either someone told him or he was tipped off something that the U.S. may be going through his messages. And he thinks it's because, or some people are suspecting that with the Iran stuff, like he had the president of Iran on for an interview last summer, I think, after the June strikes. And he also he was in Qatar a couple weeks ago for some event. He's bought property there. Now, that alone shouldn't get you or on any list or anything like that. It's just he said or claims that he's being looked into. So we'll have to keep that looking. So hey, everybody, if you're just now joining the stream, would love if you gave the video a like, hit that subscribe button as well. We hold political conversations like this all the time. We hang out with you guys. We have opposing viewpoints as well. It's a free forum for everyone to discuss politics how they'd like. So would love if you hit that subscribe button. We're out here with you every day. All right, already 246 of you guys have voted on the poll. That 247, 48, I should say now. About 70% of you believe that Tucker should not go to jail. Got a lot of new people here. Cole says Carlson works for guitar. Iceman says never liked Tucker. Very strange personality. Hustle rep, what did Tucker do? Ad hominem attacks or lower Q. My father was an old school Republican. He hates Trump. WTF over 2 says I'm curious about Tucker also. APTEM says hi, hello. Thanks for joining the stream this morning. Death Monkey says it's because he spoke out against Zionists. They hate it when people don't submit to Zog. Arsenal fan says Tucker Carlson criticized Israel and should go to jail. Criticizing Israel is a crime. Whoa! I don't think criticizing Israel is a crime. Maybe in Israel, but not in America. Jeeper says free America. Biz says death monkeys 100 emoji in agreement. The Dowderless says hi, hello. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. Nikola Tesla says interesting. He did interview Putin and was just in Israel recently, so wouldn't be surprised if they had eyes on him. Yeah, that's right. He interviewed Mike Huckabee in Israel, so maybe his phone, maybe like wavelength, it got hacked or something like that. That's my guess. Like who knows what goes on over there. Hank Hill says, why would he go to jail? Arsenal fan says Israel first. Northern Grower says, not like Trump's very good at prosecuting his enemies. Twisted Soul says Tucker is widely popular for a reason. Arsenal fan says, if you criticize Israel, you should go to jail. It is simple. Israel is holy and was chosen by God. Iceman says, folks saying no jail for Tucker, yet no facts have been proven yet. Cole Cat says, go Tucker. Iceman claims that Tucker is not popular. The Legend says, Chuck chosen by Lucifer himself. And Z says, yeah, at Twisted, the reason he is CIA. Island Life 69 says, got hacked. LOL, we listen to everything. And then Josiah says, criticism of the government of Israel has nothing to do with the Jewish people. Having an awesome discussion this morning, guys. Keep it up. Loving this chat. Twisted Soul says, Tucker is the most popular mainstream talking head in the U.S. That's a fact. Yeah, I'd say Tucker, he's definitely, I don't really know anyone on the left that's too popular right now. I think that's one of the left's bigger problems is that the right has Tucker, Megyn Kelly. They have more online right people, kind of like, like Nick and some of those other guys. But the left, I don't even know who they have, honestly. Like, I don't know any. Like, I know they have young people like Harry Sisson and Dean Withers, but yeah, they're not particularly bro guys, right? They're just kind of there. Z counters with, do you believe his popularity is entirely organic? Josiah Moore says, I'm American and hate our government right now. Joe says, Tucker and Candace are soaring and they hate it. The Daldis says, Tucker was the #1 show in like 2018, I think. Twisted says, I might disagree with people, but I'm not a liar. Oh my gosh, see, yes. This Brylan Hollyhan guy or whatever. Oh my goodness, yeah. Clearly, dude is, not even a real person, it feels like. Yeah, he has such boomer GOP talking points, bro. Like, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. An Arsenal fan, 7936 says, stop criticizing Israel and you should be fine. It is simple. Ricky Clark says, I wish Candace could go with him to jail. Whoa. Death Monkey says, Hassan Piker is more linked than Henry Sisson. And Sam says Nick is not in right camp. He is a outlier. Arsenal fan says if you support Israel, you are a good person because either you are with Israel or you are with the devil. No other option. Stay tuned says, or actually, Theo Arena, we should be allowed to criticize anyone verbally. Excuse me. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Nikola Tesla says, LOL. Probably to Arsenal fans' point, is my guess. Running May 9200 says, sup, you look like a successful scammer. You know it, dude. That's why I'm here each and every day. Nah, I'm just goofing with y'all. Technically, we're allowed to criticize anyone. Right? Ricky Clark says, I support Israel. Hiroko says, what do you do for a living? Right now, I'm in the private sector in DC. I work in politics, so I'm still involved in politics, just on the private sector level now. I used to work in this building though, but now I've kind of transitioned to media. I feel like media is I can be a stronger voice for the media and trying to get people on board. Let's see. Old boy says, lock him up. Death Monkey says, Israel's literally doomed to genocide. How is that godly and not devilish? The Jewish faith denounced Jesus. Islam at least recognizes him as a prophet. Live to Survive says, howdy. What's going on, big man? Thank you for joining the stream again today. Glad to have you back. Old boy says, politics at the private level, LOL. Then Assume says, Howard Lucan says, either go a beard or don't. Your trendy stubble is so 80s. Well, this is just kind of my style. And I'm timing it because I have a wedding this weekend as well. So I'm timing the growth rate for it. Joe says, glow harder. And Nikola Tesla says, looking suave today, dude. Much love, big man. Live to Survive, laughing face emojis. And Sam says, politics and private sector. So I work for a company. Yeah, we're just in the private sector. So like, this is the public sector. Like, your taxpayer dollars funds the salary for every single person that works at any of these buildings I'm pointing to right now. So we call that public sector employment and work. Like the Supreme Court, that's through taxpayer dollars. So when I say private sector, it's like if your friend started a restaurant down the street, right? It's just no government money is involved in this. So that's why I say private sector. Let's see a couple of new comments. Josiah says, at Cole, I probably see further than you. If you're a boomer, I can understand your opinion. But this all will wreck the economy just to be short-sighted. Stay tuned says, I don't want to get you in trouble, but have you noticed more young people are moving away from the Greater Israel Project? I have noticed that too, for sure. Yeah, and I think there's several factors why. It's because um, the I want to be as careful as I can when I say this, but like young people just simply don't really care as much, honestly. Like, just think about the Holocaust was 80 some odd years ago, and it was on a different continent, and we don't really have a tie to it, honestly. Like, I know we were in school, probably in terms of history class, we were taught about it the most than anything else, honestly. But we just don't have those same ties to it, right? It's not that we are rude or disrespectful or anything like that. We just don't have those. Yeah, we don't have that. It wasn't recent enough for us. So just naturally and just through like human biology, we don't have that tie, that same kind of level of, oh my gosh, this happened, or this just happened, or whatever. It's 2026 now, and none of us can afford anything, right? We're paying, our rent is too high, it's too expensive. No one's getting married, nobody's having kids, like the population is falling off. So, yeah, I just don't think it's a real priority for young people. Yeah, we just simply don't care. You know, that's their problem. Stay tuned says, amen, brother, America first. Let's see. Live to Survive says, Tucker doesn't seem too worried. Junior says, how are you, my friend? I'm doing great, man. Thanks for joining the stream again. Josiah says, oh, I'm against both wars on Gaza and Iran. We need to, absolutely. Rent too high and sending all money and fighting wars for Israel, says stay tuned. Right, yeah. Like, honestly, like, it's not that I don't think any of us have a strong hatred or like a strong, like, oh my gosh, you people just need to, you need to suffer, whatever. Like, I don't think we honestly think that way. It's more of a, hey man, like, my mom just fell and broke her hip and we don't have any money for any surgeries. The health insurance sucks. And here we are fighting in Iran. We're in a regime change war with Iran, and you're walking to it's icy, right? And like some of these northern states, it's icy and you fall, you slip and fall and break your hip, break your knee. You need surgery and you can't, or you have to go bankrupt to afford the surgery. So I think that's the main reason why. And it's the response from the pro-Israel crowd is what's actually making it worse for them. It's if you'd rather make sure that you have money in your savings for a health emergency, or you want better health care, you're an anti-Semite. And I fully reject that. So, yeah, that's kind of the main thing there, honestly. Alrighty. So, hey, everybody, if you're just now joining the stream, we're here talking about Israel, talking about the war in Iran, the war in Gaza, the United States, the political system. Would love if you guys hit that subscribe button, leave the video a like. It's the best way you can support the channel. We ascended over 500 subscribers this past weekend. So we're growing up, and up when it comes to that patriot by patriot, brick by brick, and awoken by awoken. We are hitting the ground running here. Some people are saying feds, that Tucker Carlson is a fed. Live to Survive says, I think Israel can take care of themselves. They approved this point over and over. Look at the history. Then Arsenal fan says, oh, Ben Trusty said a thumbs up. Thank you, brother. Arsenal fan says, you Americans suffer for the greater good. We in Israel have free healthcare and free education and free housing. Thank you, Americans, for your support. Israel gets billions of dollars every year. Yeah, it's very unfair, right? Like, I don't, we're not socialists here by any means, but I'd rather have my tax dollars going, yeah, so people can afford homes or afford health care than for Israel. They seem to be doing just fine, honestly. So no, we shouldn't just have to suffer for a country the size of New Jersey with no natural resources or geographical advantage, really. So yeah, like it's just unfair that all these people, like the people even here on vacation, they're having to use like 5 of the 7 days they get of the year to just for one vacation to hang out with their family. And then they got to get right back to their job or whatever, to where they can barely afford anything. And even if they do it, maybe the family is just the husband and the wife. Maybe they can't even afford kids or, right? So we have to take care of ourselves first. That's why it's America first. Um, um, 80, 8149 says no clear reason for the justification of attacking Iran cowardly. Stay tuned says, why get tattoo if you're a God-fearing man? Jesus and the Arabic world saying Antichrist, Pete Hegseth makes no sense. Thiel says, plus all of Europe has free healthcare also. Right, yeah, good point. Arsenal fans getting a Mossad paycheck or trolling. Probably, yeah, that's my guess as well. Has been kind, right? Hasn't been a hostile person, but yeah, just maybe being a little silly there. Draco says, why we are suffering because of Israel not learning sinners. Yeah, it's not just Israel, right? Like the stuff in Somali, but just think about it. How many people got arrested for that Somali daycare stuff? How many people have been deported because of it? Or was it really just something to get people on the right fired up and mad, and nothing ultimately happened, right? Like, yeah, we have Nick Shirley's investigation. He testifies in front of Congress, and no one's been arrested hardly. No one's been deported. What has happened with that situation? Has Tim Walz been forced to resign? Has the lieutenant governor gone to jail? Has the mayor gone to jail? Has anything happened? So just when we see this stuff, we need to see some results when it comes to it. So. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. We're out here just talking about the Middle East, all that good stuff. We're talking about Tucker Carlson. Already at 315 votes, still around the same percentage-wise. MBT Addict says, I hate Tucker Carlson. That dude is a constant whiner. User says, strategic reserve. Have you thought about stopping the attacks on Iran? Real MBT said, but he's not going to jail. Nicholas says, United States of America, right? Nikola Tesla says, well, ironically, right after it was exposed, the ICE stuff happened in the same state. That's true, yeah. And like the ICE stuff happened, but then eventually the admin kind of pulled out in Minneapolis after Renee Good and Alex Preddy died. So there was like an attempt at least, but ultimately still nothing really came to fruition. But good point though. Yeah, there was an attempt. So I'll give you a little credit there, Nikola Tesla. Thanks for keeping me a little more honest with it. And with a good counterpoint. Live to Survive 4558 says, if Iran doesn't attract American bases in the region in the last 47 years, then when the time comes to retaliate, don't cry about it. Assume once as Japan is so kind, isn't it? Yeah, we did an episode on Japan a couple of weeks ago when Sane Takachi won the supermajority in the Diet. So you'll definitely want to check that episode out if you haven't already. Did some Japanese history as well. So that was a fun episode to learn about. Like Article 9 of the Japanese Constitution, yeah, maybe she scraps it to try and help defend Taiwan a little better. Draco says, you're in DC with McDonald's drive-through expectations. Can you elaborate a little more, please? USS Cole, yeah, he is what a disappointment. They can't get unlimited drones. Stay tuned says, I support America, America first. Lilo says, released. Real MBT Addict says, Tucker was okay 5 years ago, now he just cries. What does Awoken mean? Good question. So Awoken is realizing that, so a little bit about me is that I worked in the Senate for 2 years. I worked for a U.S. senator, then just started this channel, like out of just frustration with how the swamp is moving and like being firsthand witnessing and experiencing and working on this stuff, that we need a critical mass of people to become awoken to that, to see what actually, like, I'm also on the ground in DC a lot. So like I've talked to members of Congress before, done rush ups, got them on questions, attend protests in DC, see what people are actually talking about, let you guys decide if they're like, if these people are being paid or whatever. And then we also, there's also an additional like educational standpoint to it, is that like we do deep dives into countries. Like tonight we're talking about Ireland. We're doing a St. Patrick's Day special. So you'll definitely want to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you check out tonight's episode as well. So good question though. Stay tuned says, how you got Chinese mod, get American as mod. Hope Tucker goes to prison. Dude is a loser. Dakota Wilson says the Capitol building is beautiful. Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's a very beautiful building. Very fun, just kind of hanging out around it, seeing what the people here are up to. Let's see. I gotta check my stuff or whatever. Yellow Summer says, it's weird. I feel like you can't say anything here. Maybe, yeah, I don't know why your comments are getting removed, Yellow. Welcome back to the stream, though. Mark Thomas says, lots of deluded Ziobots here. Twisted Soul says, Japanese are awesome people. Person for what? Being annoying. While at least Waltz won't run again, I'd love to know who would vote for that man. Lesbians. 8149 says, you look like Luke of the Discipline. So said the truth. For sake of God and humanity, not Trump and Netanyahu. Thiel says Walls should definitely be in prison. And Addict adds, Tucker even looks like a CIA stooge. Lance Miller says, register Israel under FARA and to ban AIPAC. Josiah says, a little too late. ICE insert over, just go back to handling with the same system before. Here, let's go through a couple. Free speech. The auto filter is really heavy-handed. I don't think there's anything. Yeah, I looked into the filter, and it's at the weakest I can make it. Yeah, I try to make it as where as much stuff as possible would be able to enter the chat. It's like a good tip I tell people, if you're stuck, if your stuff is getting stuck, is to like use a number instead of a letter. If that like makes sense, like instead of an L, use a 1, for example, or something like that, to kind of help, yeah, sneak around it a little bit. Dakota asked if I'm a politician. I haven't. So haven't held elected office before. I've been appointed to stuff back in my hometown, but not here. I worked in the U.S. Senate for a senator for 2 years. Sam says, why are we giving billions to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan? Foxbox says we must support Israel. KT says, I'm very behind as far as Tucker Carlson. Can you recap, please? I've been taking care of my mother after her surgery. Well, I hope your mother's doing okay, KT. Hate to hear, but I hate to hear your mother needed surgery, but hopefully that she's doing much better now. So the little recap on the Tucker Carlson situation is that there is over the weekend or Friday or something just a couple of days ago, he mentioned that he was either told or suspects that the U.S. government is going through his messages. And this comes, and that's his claim, right? The U.S. government personnel hasn't said anything or mentioned, confirmed anything. But that may be because, like, remember he had the president of Iran on his show last summer after the June strikes. He was in Qatar a couple weeks ago. He bought a home in Qatar a little while ago as well. So maybe that's some of it, but nothing like confirmed or official. Just Tucker's making the claim. So good question. Of course, yeah. Much love to everyone out there. Yes, Junior, I am. I'm at the Capitol right now, and yes, I am. I just started this own media, my own YouTube channel a couple months ago. So would love if everyone hit that subscribe button, leave the video a like. We do these chats, do updates on a frequent basis. Love to get to know you guys better. It's been love. We ascended over 500 subscribers this weekend, and we're only growing larger each and every day. So would love to have you on the team. Yeah, a lot of comments this morning, so I'm trying to get to as many as possible. But yeah, we got a very solid little stream going this morning, so going to be hard to get to everybody, but we'll try. Here, let's go. KT says, thank you, sweetheart. Joe Rogan, worst comedian on earth. And there's an account that is named From Israel with a bunch of squiggly lines. So, yeah, not too sure. Not too sure there. Sorry. MBT Addict says real crimes is prison, not jail. Sam says become more isolationist, ends, dollar hegemony gone, no more unlimited printing, what a world to live in. Edits Gaming says, how do you feel about Zionism being adopted by conservatives without realizing it? Junior says, thank you for the update. It hasn't been adopted. I have already, and put notifications on for later on. Thank you, KT. Thank you, love. Much love to your mother. Tell your mother I'm rooting for her. Mike says, and I know that's true. And Z says, oh, it's backwards. Oh, huh. Would love to hear your voice asking for a release of Epstein Files. We need the people to stand up for the government to do something. Right. And I also made an Epstein Files episode around a month ago when the first 3 million were released by the Justice Department. So I am in support, though, for releasing all of them and making sure anybody that did anything wrong is punished, or at least held in court, right? That they at least there's some day in court held, because if the worldwide elites are on this island and doing all this stuff, that's a big problem. It simply is, especially if whether it's presidents, prime ministers, royalty, whoever it is, if they're involved in this, something needs to happen. It can't just be swept under the rug. Josiah says, I would vote for this Republican, level-headed and able to debate. Absolutely, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's always about trying to grow a big tent, right? We need we don't compromise our stuff. We're just understanding of other people's points of views, and sometimes believe in our views enough that it's worth respectfully engaging with other people to maybe see if they'll come around to our side. So that's what it's all about. Edits Gaming with the blow up. Thank you very much. Ricky Clark says, I don't care for Rogan. Thiel says, I think Netanyahu will step down next fall. Fingers crossed. Those are a lot of pillars. Yeah, a ton of those little core pillars right there. Thank you, Twisted Soul. Much love, dude. Appreciate you. USA says, nothing ever happens, part 8. KT 2720 says, will do, with the heart emoji. Bunch of 100 emojis as well. Thank you. I saw Netanyahu at a soccer game, LOL. Rudy says, Democrats will not release the files. Junior says, very enormous. Yeah, very. So I've been, so about right here is like the ground level, and you can kind of, you can look at the painted ceiling within the Capitol Dome itself. Very cool stuff. Maybe one of these days we'll head inside the building. Z says, I saw Netanyahu at Louis St. James. Megala says, I'd vote for you, bud. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Galaxy Frame says, hi. Hello, Galaxy. Thank you for joining the stream today, big man. Appreciate you. I'm not sure if you're left or right leaning, but I followed you. Have a nice one. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your you subscribing and joining the Awoken. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much, man. Tony is back. Hello, Tony. Welcome back, bro. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. Galaxy Frame says your tie is nice. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, big man. Thank you for the compliment. One of my personal favorite ties as well. Nikola Tesla says, where's BB? Seems to have vanished for like a week. Yeah, and like there's I'm not sure if he's dead, but some of these videos seem to be a little maybe they're only adding more questions than answers that they've released recently. And Tony says, screw Laura Loser. Hope she goes to prison. Yeah, isn't she so mentally insane she can't hold a fire? Yeah, she's not legally allowed to have a firearm or something. Survive with a bunch of USA flags. Adam says, of course, no one in power or Congress or government is going to jail. let's see. I love USA from Australia, says Lindsay. Welcome to the stream, Lindsay. Thanks for joining, brother. Ricky Clark says never mentioned. Thiel says the ICE raids were probably prep for this war, probably were completely necessary. Clinton, I don't like watching podcasts long duration. And then Sam says he has only posted the video today, even if you fall for Qatari propaganda.
I wanted to clarify the instructions with her.
Awesome. And Darsh says Jewish propaganda. Welcome to the chat, Darsh. Thank you for joining the stream today, big man. Everybody, we're up to nearly 400 votes on our poll discussing if Tucker Carlson will go to jail. 2/3 of you believe he will not, and 1/3 of you believe that he will. So good little discussion out here today with you guys. Josiah Moore said, just so as long as you actually work with the working class and not following your processor line and taking bribes from big money, oil money especially, like how many care more for yourself than the a dog is from Thailand. Hello, welcome. Hello from Washington, D.C., the U.S. Capitol building. We're out here hanging out, taking your guys' questions, encouraging you guys to leave the video a like and subscribe to the channel as well. So, Yellow Summer says, I don't know who he is. Dakota says, the law is the land. If people in the government should go jail if they commit a crime. Absolutely, Dakota. Yep. Yeah, no one's over the law. No one, yeah, no exceptions. Z says, he had 5 fingers in every video, mass AI psychosis. And Sam says, should America give asylum to Muslims whose lives are disturbed? I'd say no, because now I agree with that. Starting all these wars kind of screws it up. Where there's a bunch of refugees and whatnot all over Europe and the Western countries. But yeah, like you had the dude the day before Thanksgiving in DC, he shot and killed 2. He killed 1 National Guardsman and another was like in the hospital for a period of time or something. So I'd say no to. Good question, Sam. I'd say no, though. Assume One says, it'll be chaos. And then Typist says Tucker is innocent. He's done nothing wrong whatsoever. Sam says, should America give asylum to Christians whose lives are disturbed? I'd say kind of same thing, honestly, is that like right now we want a, there's the problem is it's mass migration from wherever is what's causing some of the social fabric to be destroyed in the country. So we just want, we need to shut some of that shit down right now. Just like no more refugees, no more mass immigration. We need keep the border secured, and the illegals, they need to be deported. Like it's not good enough just to shut the border down. The people that are here illegally need to be apprehended and removed from the country. So, yeah, we can't be having mass refugees every other day, right? So, good questions, though. Yeah, definitely keeping me honest there, or keeping me disciplined with my answer, I should say. Sean Riley or Thiel agrees. Sean Riley says so. Everyone but the natives. So like, what's the right? And I think Z makes a great point there as well. Is that like, so it's not that we can't not have any immigration. Like even right now, like my personal policy, we had an immigration episode a couple weeks ago when the Minneapolis stuff was happening, and then my personal policy is that every 10,000 illegals that are deported, we can have one legal immigrant enter. It's because right now it's just the native population is struggling to own homes and afford children, right? And yeah, so I just don't think we need it. And we just had 10 million enter illegally under Biden. So like, I just think right now we're good. Yeah, we can take what we have for a little bit and just roll with the team we got right now. So. Well, see, the stolen land stuff, like I just never really bought into that because, dude, then is the current Iranian regime on stolen land? Is the, like, are the Saudis, are they on stolen land, right? Because Ibn Saud renamed the country after him and his family after conquering it all those years ago. So all countries are like, empires are built, like kingdoms fall, people, kings die, armies fall, armies conquer. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes into that makes it, I just reject the stolen land stuff. Firestarter 78 says, we are struggling to live. Right, yeah, like, just like the population that's been born here, like, it's just really difficult right now. Let's see a couple of other comments. Want to engage with the people that disagree with me or probably disagree with me. So Wendy Roger says, native population, are you referring to indigenous? Could be, right? Like, but they mostly have their casinos and their hotels and their whatnot. And then like in terms of just like us as like Europeans who were pioneers and conquered the land, right? Our ancestors and other people like that. So, yeah. Yeah, they're just kind like a lot of them I know, like Arizona has they have a large Indian population, right? Like the Dakotas, Wyoming, some of those more middle America states as well. So. Plus, reservations have their own laws. Like if they steal a car, they can just keep it. There's no penalty. Loch Ness Monster questioning my IQ and saying that you can barely string two coherent thoughts together. Thank you for that. Happy Monday, brother. Um, Dakota Wilson says the government should put regulations on immigration, like having background checks and checking for valid documents and stuff. Live to Survive says Native Americans in my area are making tons of money here. Assume One says Jessica Foster are funny. Um, Ryan Chain says, who's we? I've never colonized anyone. Rick James says natives fought for land. Rudy says, although it's casinos and still not doing jack shit. Ryan says, we're colonizers and imperialists. Sam says, but people are native and are raw, not coming from 1,000 miles. And then Krishna says, I'm old enough to remember when America was the nation, or was the nation most respected in the world. We have Ricky says, or Ryan Chain says, you're colonizing right now. Tony says, hi. Hello, Tony. 5553 says, opinions on Israel. Like the conflict, or what do you say, like maybe Israel's influence within the United States of America and like our Congress. If they Sam says, do you believe in great Bernie Sanders, free healthcare? I'm not a socialist by any means, but sometimes Bernie can make a little bit of sense, right? Okay, sure. So yeah, 55, 53, I'll say that, yeah, opposed to the war, right? Opposed to all that stuff, opposed to foreign aid. And like, yeah, we need to be putting America first and our people first. And yeah, I'm just not I'm not an Israeli cheerleader by any means. Yellow Summer says, where's the PowerPoint? How so? Maybe. I agree, 55, 53. Yeah, they gotta be yeah, they seem to be doing perfectly fine. They seem to be doing well enough. So yeah, I think they're fine. There we go. Okay, let's go to a couple of new comments here. Live government. Here, I'm still up a little bit. All right, 426 votes, still about the same percentage. Sam says, bro, take a deep breath for a second. But yeah, PowerPoint, we'll have a PowerPoint tonight for the Ireland presentation. We'll be talking about all about Ireland tonight. The purity tests are so annoying. Well, Draco, it's not that I'm in favor of the regime in Iran by any means. I'm not. It's just they don't, on a massive scale threat that like the neocons and the government wants us to believe is that they really can't do anything to us. They're really only able to defend themselves, if that. They can't play any offense. Their Air Force and Navy is not superior at all. So their advantages is that they have the mountains. They have a 1,000,000-man army with Besiege and Revolutionary Guard and the standard Iranian military. And that it's a theocracy, right? So there's just a common belief in there. Sam says, "Are you Irish American?" No, I am not. One of my a friend that will be joining the show tonight. She is from Ireland, so you'll definitely want to check it out. And Ryan, so here we got a couple of questions here from Ryan. What is the Seventh Amendment without Google? So first, yeah. Isn't it like trial by jury, I think? Or maybe a speedy trial in jury? Type it says, good old garbage truck man, keeping it clean. I think I have to agree with that. We shouldn't be sending any more money. Our country needs it more right now. Charity begins at home. Our people need it more. Draco says, have you seen what has happened to the world trade due to the Strait of Hormuz? I have, yeah. It's definitely screwed up a lot of stuff. Yeah, making oil a lot more expensive, putting panic on the markets. And I even think South Korea's stock market collapsed even, or something in South Korea totally fell through. Alice says, happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Alice. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. Glad that you are here. Timmy Turner says, I'm a DC cockroach. Live to Survive says, how many amendments are there? I think there's, 27 amendments to the Constitution, I believe. I think. Yeah, it's 25 or 20. No, it's 26 or 27, but I think 27. Savage says, not today. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking it was jury trial. Yeah, I think it's 27, yeah. Well, Draco, the only reason they shut it down is because we killed their supreme leader and bombed them 3,000 times. So they didn't do that before we attacked them. So I think your point's invalid there. They didn't just wake up one morning and close to the Strait of Hormuz for no reason. Yellow says, thank you for doing that. Yeah, so if you come back at 8:15 tonight, we'll do the entire history of Ireland, whether it's the Great Potato Famine in the 1850s or Conor McGregor or the history of Guinness or other fun historical aspects of Ireland. We'll be talking about all that tonight. So you'll definitely want to subscribe to the channel and leave the video a like so you come back for that as well. Savage, it does. Yeah, I've been here around it 3.5 years now. I worked in the Senate for 2 years for a senator from Indiana, and now I just started the live stream and try, build like an educational online space to where we can all talk politics. Even though we argue, we're still talking at the end of the day, right? We're not. We're trying to learn and understand it, counterpoints better. So that's why I try to engage with people that disagree with me as well in particular. So because it makes me better and more skilled at my arguments as well. So let's read a couple of other comments. Mediterranean diet says politicians are a curse on humanity. Live to survive 58 says right at least 3 times, I think. The Irish famine happened more than once. We would go to Jesuit jail. Have you ever been say thank you once, XD? Yeah, definitely. If someone leaves a compliment or said something nice, I'll usually say thank you. And Christian asked if I've ever been punched in the face. I haven't, actually. I'm a pretty skilled fighter, so people have tried, but no one's ever successfully landed a hit. Starting to get a little windy out here in DC today. Still out here in front of the U.S. Capitol, taking your guys' questions, engaging with you guys. Ooh, Christian, dude, you know it. Yeah, I'm the best one. I'm the best one in the city. And Timmy Turner says, "I've never had a real fight then." Yeah, let's do a little spin. So like right by these trees, you got the Supreme Court building. So here you have the Russell Senate building. Then right over here, where those people are standing, that's the Washington Monument. So that's probably a solid. That's a solid mile or so away, I'd say. Here, we're going to head towards Union Station though. I want a coffee, so we'll grab a coffee and hang out in Union Station. Show you guys some of the creatures lurking around Union Station and Washington, D.C. Same says capitalism supported by Christian billionaires versus soft communism, socialism supported by the left, Islamic alliance has started with New York City. Josiah says most of us Irish Americans are very aware of our history, but since Trump got elected twice, is still baffling. Would rather have you as president than this greatest completely. He barely has a few. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for maybe one of these days I will become president. The world may never know, right? That's why we gotta grind every day, engage in our craft, become better at politics, right? Meet people in politics. I can help you network. Um, that's what I kind of do for a living here in DC is I will, um, yeah, I have lots of connections here. So, yeah, we definitely get a little better every day. Be working on our politics, advancing our agenda, meeting new people, all that stuff. Absolutely, I'll point you. I'll point you to the my cabinet for sure. Survive. Ooh, Ebenezer. That's a good. I haven't been there in a while. Yeah, that's a good one. Hmm. And that's not that much further away. So, and maybe we'll take a little, do something a little different today. Head to Ebenezer Coffee instead. Union Station is expensive. Yeah, usually I would get coffee from McDonald's. Usually, um, or like one of the cheap places because it's only like $2 or $3. Tony says, "Stop getting coffee at McDonald's." Yeah, I'm sure it's probably just gasoline, pretty much. I'm sure. Uh, Josephine says, "Let me bring you to a bigger network of followers. Then I promise I will bring to a bigger exposure of an audience." Thank you. Yeah, we need everyone who need to make a big tent coalition with this. So we are. Well, I'm not unemployed actually, so you should be a little smarter. Um, however, yeah, we definitely need to build the mass awakening, right? So we ascended over 500 subscribers this past weekend, and then a week before last, we were at like 380 subscribers. So we got over 100, like over like 140 subs in 1 week. So we had a breakout week last week. So we're still getting there. We're still grinding. And we're only going to keep moving up from there. So if you're new, please leave the video a like and hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications as well. So thank you very much for hanging out with us this morning. Goodbye, Timmy. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, I tried to read a good chunk of the comments. Just some of them maybe don't need to be read. You know what I mean? Just maybe they're just like a comment like okay or something like this. So KT says, have a wonderful day. See you later on your life. Thank you. You have a wonderful day yourself. Nice to meet you this morning. Thank you very much. Christian says snowflakes don't link to read negative comments. They get triggered. I wish you well on your new journey. Thank you very much, bro. Appreciate you being here. Assume says, and if you big streamer, the comment will like the fast. I can't read about 1 second. New comment will appear. KT says, yes, I appreciate you keeping me updated. No problem. That's what I'm here for. Josiah says, you are a Republican I respect. Know how to conduct master debate. I subbed, and so that way I can refer to you as a guest. You will do 3,000% better than most their guests. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Josiah. And Tony says, Timmy had to wipe his face and floss his teeth. Aha. Hey guys, thank you for being here this morning. Been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys once again. Each time we do a stream, we're meeting new people, and a lot more people are returning. They're returning for second and third streams, hanging out with us. So we are building something, I think, that can and will work. So yeah, we're just going to keep building this as large as we can. Taxes voluntarily paying for a friend. We are, dude, I wish. Unfortunately, death and taxes. Jam says, what's his channel about? I'm stream surfing from the United Kingdom. We are here in Washington, D.C. today. Jam out walking around and taking your guys' questions. We're talking about just a more general political chat today. We're talking about Tucker Carlson. We're talking about the war in Iran, talking about immigration, other political topics. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop a couple down below, and we'll kind of dissect them and chit chat. Yes, current affairs. We are, it's a really, like these morning streams are, I'll usually have a poll question for the topic to where maybe people that just joined the chat can have maybe some kind of context. No, it's really just kind of whatever we want to talk about the morning of. Also tonight, everyone should come back at 8:15 Eastern. We'll be discussing Ireland with my buddy from Ireland. We'll be discussing the history of the country. So you'll definitely want to make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you can join back for that as well. James says, everyone here hates Starmer with a passion. Borderline revolt here. 3091 says, hey, thanks for making yourself available to the people. Good way to be. Yeah, of course, man. Like, that's like, we're here. We engage with people we disagree with. And like, we've actually, I'd say probably 10 to 15% of some of the people that are subscribed to here are like the opposite political views of us, actually. So, it's just been a lot of fun. starting this. Some people internationally that might not have ties to U.S. politics. It's just really fun to talk about politics here together. Josiah says, I will wish you luck, but most people in our country in the middle are hard to predict, but I have seen some minds changed. AOC times 2. Live to Survive says 2:15 a.m. GMT.
Because I don't think it's
Aulden says, morning, Agent Smith. What did you do this weekend? What did I do this? I worked a little bit. We went to an anti-Iran regime protest, and we probably stayed on a stream for another 2 hours after that. And then yesterday, I did edits, did a lot of editing for the show and research for the show. So I got clips, some clips out for the Kurd episode we discussed or had last week. Then I did more research and preparation for our Ireland episode yesterday. Then just kind of chilled, watched some of the college basketball selection show, saw what teams are going to make the tournament. So some exciting stuff going on there. Are you going to all these Iran protests, find Persian baddie? Dude, there are some, dude. There are some very beautiful Persian women at some of these protests for sure. Yeah, man, that would always be ideal, right? Yellow Summer says, if anyone actually talked about politics, then Z points out that AOC is currently polling at only 5%. Yeah, that's a little tough. Yeah, she had that Taiwan answer as well. I think that didn't really help her out, but I'm not sure if anyone's going to remember that in a couple of years, honestly. Alrighty, we are at the coffee house, Ebenezer's. Right, so that, you can see the top of it right there. That's Union Station right there. So we're not too far from Union Station. So at the Munich security conference a month ago, she made her first international visit. And she was asked about what she would do for Taiwan, or if she was president, what her policy would be on Taiwan. And she basically had a 35-second long didn't really say anything. It was a Kamala word salad answer a little bit. So, yeah, not the best look for her. Yellow Summer says, sorry, don't even joke about women. Yuck. And Theo says, did she call them cowboys? Aman says, why would Tucker go to jail? So yeah, if you're just now joining and new for the Tucker situation, is over the weekend or on Friday, something like that, just a couple of days ago, Tucker claimed that his phone was being ran through or looked at through the United States for whatever reason. And he just kind of announced on a show, and but he's claiming that he only reached out to Iranian fish for journalist reasons or whatever. It is just a claim right now, and U.S. U.S. government personnel hasn't released a statement or anything confirming. So Here, we're going to get us a coffee now. Um, yeah, she had something happen. Yeah, like I covered it on my Munich episode when I talked about Rubio. We did a Munich recap episode, and if you go to that episode and look at um, yeah, near the end of it, we go over her answer, and she just basically had a stroke or something. So, yeah, big time fumble. Theo says because she's clueless. Just Man says, when has she ever looked good? Live Shoot Survive says Snowden revealing what he already knew. Sam says Trump comes in support. Yeah, of Mark Levin on Truth Social. What the hell is that about, man? Like, what the heck? And Christian asked, why aren't you at work now? So I just work different hours each day. So I'll probably do like, it's almost 11. So probably work 12 to 7 probably today and then go home for tonight's stream. Then tomorrow I'll probably maybe do some different hours, but it's just kind of day by day for me. Cole Auld says microzine is yeah, for sure, bro. And did you see Mark Levin like, hey buddy Trump, come over and like manhandled him during that Christmas dinner, that Christmas event, and said, gosh, I was here 6 years ago and said you were the first Jewish president, and now you're the next one. So Cole Draco says President Trump put Tucker and checkmate on 40 chess. But yeah, survive. Yeah, survive. I thought that was a very Trump usually doesn't allow anyone to manhandle him like that. So pretty interesting stuff. Christian said, what happened to the Jerome Powell investigation thrown out? That's right. Yeah. I did see that last week. And Tony, yep, I just made it. Yeah, I'm in line now. Not sure I'm going to get though. Usually I just drink a black coffee or something. And then Ben says tough hairline. Yeah, the wind will screw up my hair. Walking around the Capitol and whatnot. Corrado is great. Okay, I'll just get one of those then. Would you suggest iced or hot? Or does it matter? Good. You okay, man? Goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Can I get a large cortado, please?
Yeah. So all of our cortados come in one size, so it would just be 8 ounce, but it's going to be like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Or do you want something a little bit bigger?
Yeah, like
The flat white would be the next size. So instead of it being half full, it would be a full size of this.
okay. I'll just do. Can I just get a large black coffee? Yeah, thank you.
Any cream or sugar or just black?
Just black.
Your name for the order?
Aulden, Aulden.
When you were ready, you can go ahead and tap right there for me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. So I went with a black coffee instead because um, the cortado was pretty. It was like kind of tiny. Actually, it wasn't that much. Yeah, the guy pointed and said it was like half of a cup. But maybe next time. Um, let's see here. Packs a Punch tracking. It's espresso and milk tracking. Oh, okay. See, I'm not the biggest coffee person, so or like I don't expand outside of like generic SEC to your left. Oh, um, hmm. I drink Cowboy. Live to Survive says I drink Cowboy coffee. And then Sam says, why not much division on the left as in the right? Because the left is more cohesive and less broad than the right. And the left also is just kind of a glass building is. Oh, wait. Okay. This guy then. Glass building is SEC. That was the courthouse. Interesting. But yeah, back to Z's points that like just the left in general is their I don't know, it seems like right now they're still kind of recovering from the 24 election, but also they just don't have I don't know what they're thinking Gavin Newsom is the nominee. Like is that what they're going to go with? Like he's not particularly exciting at all. So everybody, good morning. Yeah, thanks for if you're still been on the stream a while or just now joining, thank you for being here. Really, I'm thankful for your viewership and hanging out with us on this Monday morning out here chatting politics. Oh no, that was almost really bad. Fuck. No, I'm sorry about that. You had some of the coffee got on my pant, but no, not on my white shirt at least. So we're so good there. Yeah, the tie survived. So here is the like the NRCC. Yeah, so both parties have their own like headquarters for the Senate campaigns, and here's the Republican version of one. Senator Tim Scott is the chair of the NRCC chair or NRSC chair, excuse me, for this cycle of South Carolina. Gavin thinks he's better than everyone else. Sam says, bro, Midas touch videos are exploding on every video. Tony says security and exchange commission for SEC. Theo says Newsom must have been fundraising when all that homeless solution money was paid out. Newsom will surely get the support of the tech bros. And then Z says, no Sam Vance gets tech bro endorsement. Mr. Berger, 25, says, God bless ICE. Absolutely, big man. Everybody, if you're just now joining the stream, please leave the video a like and please hit that subscribe button. We ascended over 500 subscribers last week, last week, and we're still looking to grow each and every day. Would love to have more people that love talking politics to join the channel and join the Awoken, right? We're really at the stage now that if you guys didn't know, but I publicly said it Friday, but appointed Z to be our first moderator for the channel. So everyone, W's in the chat for Z, been very helpful in preventing spammers and scammers from entering the chat, helping me as we've started to, as more and more people join the chat each time. It's been a huge help for myself. So everyone, please thank Z. And yeah, we're over 500 subscribers. And we're just going to keep going and going. So yeah, let's keep going, guys. We got this. Kraduri says, hi, hello, Sabjiol Kraduri. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. Appreciate you being here. And Z says, there was a data visualization that went viral around 6 months ago that detailed the dispersion of left slash right wing ideas. The right is a much more diverse thought arena. They send text back. KT says, thank you at ZXQE49283. Jack says, what's up? What's up, Jack? Thank you for joining the stream this morning. And Z with a heart emoji. Yeah, it's starting to feel a little real, guys. So yeah, this is probably about month 4/5 of the channel, maybe 3/4. But yeah, I've really started to hit with this Iran war stuff. It's really helped me grow the channel a lot recently. And we've had good topics, good conversations as well. Like today, there's always been 10 and up to like 50 people in the stream at a single time. So that's really good averages for us. Survive says, thoughts on the essential Republican budget or Republican filibuster and the NHS budget? You know, I haven't checked that out yet, to be honest with you. What do you know about it so far? Because I haven't seen much about that, honestly. Here's the Hart Senate building. So one of the 3 Senate office buildings in the Congress. Like NATO is cooked. Z says it's looking like NATO is cooked after this Iran situation blows over. No one is willing to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Or I did see that, yeah, that the other countries would not be willing to send in warships to try reopen it. And that really just kind of is, yeah, one of the headlines of this conflict so far is that some of the stuff that the U.S. hoped would happen is not really going. Some of the stuff has gone our way, I should say, but not everything. And if you can't get that, you need the entire parlay to hit for your sports bet to go through. All it takes is 1 or 2 and it screws you up. So, yeah, pretty big stuff here. Yeah, there's the Capitol building over there. So we'll head over back to it here in a sec. Actually, yeah, let's just cross the street now then. Z says Trump has apparently been in talks with China for assistance. Could be the beginning of the greatest alliance the world has ever seen. China, time plus USA, will be unstoppable. Pursuit says, yep, nothing going on. Empty city as usual. And Thiel says, Ark, has anyone been seeing that lately? Not that I can think of. Oh, America, Russia, China. Well, I know Tucker Carlson on his show before he's made the point that the only way, like if we are heading towards a confrontation with China, the only way to do that is having Russia on our side. Or he's made similar points to that. So, see, I always thought if you could normalize relations with Iran and get Iran to flip in particular, that would really help us. Because then that way you can have the Middle East would be much calmer as well. No, it looks like that's not happening right now. Oh, guys, look. Beautiful cherry blossom. Haven't seen one yet. Gorgeous. The first of many. Just right outside the the Hart Senate office. Got the Supreme Court right there. Oh, a couple others by the Supreme Court as well. especially by the tidal basin around. Yeah, more like closer to Lincoln Memorial type feel. You'll have a bunch of cherry blossom. Survive says so cool, and 'tis the season. Tis the season indeed. So yeah, we'll head back to the Capitol for a couple minutes, or probably more. Yeah, let's just stay by the Supreme Court. Then I can probably head to work after that. But yeah, we'll stay on a couple more minutes, take y'all's questions, get to know you a little better. Hopefully you guys had fun this morning here in Washington, D.C. with us. Pretty solid stream, right? We're at 523 votes for the poll, with about 67% of you guys thinking Tucker will not go to jail, and at 33% of you guys believe that he will. Pursuit says, I'm sure you'll get to the bottom of it. And Biz says, will you visit Tucker and Pelican Bay? Not too sure. Man, it's starting to rain again, too. And now we are out here in front of the Supreme Court building. I'm going to be hanging out with you guys here.
Really? Oh, really? Like that.
U.S. Capitol building over here. And at the Supreme Court, got some fountains over here. Johnny is stuck on the toilet with no toilet paper. Sorry, Johnny. You're in a tough situation, buddy. Hate that for you. Other side of SCOTUS. Hey, everybody, if you're just now joining the stream, we've been out here taking your questions, hanging out with you guys in DC, getting to know you guys a lot better. So if you're new to the stream and enjoying the content so far, please hit that subscribe button, leave the video a like so you can join us for future live streams and episodes as well. Today, we're really talking about the Tucker Carlson situation, war in Iran, current events, current political events going on as well. Believe we even talked about immigration a little bit, some bills in Congress, all that good stuff. So would love if you hit that subscribe button and join us for the next one. Yeah, 529 of you guys have voted, so really good turnout for today's poll. Live to survive, says Aulden. Gotta go. Have a great day. Have a great day, brother. Peace, chat. All right, peace, brother. Get after it today. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Hello. Hi. Yeah, we're going to let's do one more little look over here at this fountain. Then we'll start heading towards something else. Not many coins in that fountain. That's right. Yeah, I think they, even in some of the other reflecting pools or bodies of water in DC, don't see a whole ton of coins usually. Huh. Good one. Yeah, because yeah, he was here right before me. That's why. All right, we're going to move on from the Supreme Court building. Hung out here a little bit. We're going to keep walking around. Assume says, hey, you still live? Yep, I'll be live a little bit longer. Probably another 15 or 20 minutes. Then I'll probably get to work. Oh, you ended an hour ago? Nah, not yet. Now, I won't be on for all that much longer, but I'll be on a couple more minutes. It's been another really strong stream today, so wanting to meet more people, chat with people. Believe, we probably picked up a good chunk of subscribers as well today. So, another successful day. And each day they get it builds, it compounds quickly. Like usually, like a couple weeks ago, there'd be like 5 people on, then it was 10 people, and then it's 15, and then like it got up to like 50 earlier today at once. So we're just, we're building the foundation in real time. It's really cool to see happen. Tracking. All right, big man. Yeah, thanks for popping back in. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, there we are. U.S. Capitol building, baby. Soak her in. Hey, everybody, good morning still. Just now on the stream. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you being here, hanging out with us this morning. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button. Best way you can support us right now. Also, leave the video a like. That's also another phenomenal way you can support us. You're here for something early, so thank you for being here. Z says, the Capitol is really unmatched in beauty as far as America goes. I mean, just all of these, like, just look at these gorgeous little buildings. Or statues, I should say, rather. Right in front of the Library of Congress. Crosby says, what would Tucker Carlson go to jail for? Good question. So I'm not sure if you could check out his channel for his official statement, but this weekend or on Friday, a couple of days ago, he announced that he had been or was told that government is going through his messages because he had been, they think, maybe speaking with the Iranians or something like that. It's just a claim right now. The U.S. government has not released a statement or anything like that. But some people suspect that they may be just trying to throw him in jail for telling the truth or stuff like that. So that's today's poll question. Yeah, we're up to almost 550 votes. Really great stream today. Just hanging out with you guys in front of some of DC's most historic architecture. Parker Whitaker said, who in those files scares people the most? Yeah, I think a lot of people, right, yeah, so. Good points, everybody. I was just finishing my coffee real quick. Parker's dial-up says, I really hope Tucker doesn't get the Kirk Yahoo treatment. Sorry for spelling. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and he nowadays feels like nothing's counted out. KT says, the ones that haven't been mentioned yet scare me the most. And Big M1C says, it's the Illuminati after him. Potentially. Parker says, have y'all searched your states? Who's in them? I'm in Arkansas, and they mention places to meet, like Search and Rogers, Arkansas. Z makes the point to dial up that Tucker will be fine. If they were actually after him, he wouldn't have the opportunity to warn people. Dial up says they hit John Kirkue with total nonsense and lies. Z says it wasn't unsolicited, though. It was because he refused the enhanced interrogation classes. At ECOGGK says, haha, all sensitive vids freeze, but you can no stop watch some dude cook at a restaurant. Parker says, what's to the one in those files that changed everything you think about? Bless you to the sneezing person. Cool. Got that coffee out of my hands, baby. We back to hands. Yeah, hand free again. Okay. Right. Yeah. Z says it is crazy how all the conspiracy theories have basically been confirmed, from COVID to all the way who runs the world. Parker says you can also look up delete after reading. These aren't theories, they are fact. Yeah, I got some pre-Wi-Fi. Everybody, just if you're here for the first time, would love if you hit that subscribe button. If you left the video a like, that'd be another phenomenal way in which you can support me. We're out here in DC walking around taking your questions. Be with you for probably a couple more minutes today. This is a strong stream, so I do want to keep it going because we are, again, lots of solid engagement, especially. So if you're just new, we're doing a live stream tonight, going to be talking about Ireland with my buddy from the country. She lives there. We're also going to, it's about the history of Ireland, Guinness, all that good stuff. You definitely, for a St. Patrick's Day special. And then sometime this week, we'll need to do a 500 subscriber special for you guys. Maybe we can go somewhere fun in DC and check things out. Maybe go to a museum or something. But maybe, oh no, I'll have to think of something really good to thank you guys for being here. But yeah, would love if you, subscribe. We're over 500, so we're ascending each and every day. Thank you very much for your time. Got a couple of comments here. Georgie says delete the MAGA cancer. Cole Old says, is he asking for bananas and fried chicken? Parker says they had a person deep fried like a turkey on a dinner table. Jay's still alive. They are covering up his death. Z says there is zero evidence of that. Des 138 says, do Americans not like Tucker? Jacob with a gross comment there. Come on, Jacob. Z says, I think most center right-wing people are fine with Tucker at Des 138. Crosby says, when the Department of Education was created in 1979, America ranked number 1 in education. Today, we rank in the 40s. It's all by design. Then Gerald says, exactly. Witcher says, do you think Trump should invade Canada and Greenland? I don't think he needs to invade Canada. Invade, I'd say, so Greenland, I'm in more of a, like, it makes sense for us to take over Greenland. But invade, I'm not sure. Maybe try and buy it or something like that. But it would be in our best interest to have it, I think. Jacob says he's at work pooping. It's normal and haters. Yeah, I'm with Z. So yeah, Z and I are on about the same wavelength there, is that we should somehow acquire it. Yeah. I don't think we don't need to be killing anybody or like any violence, but if we somehow acquired it, I think that would be in our best interest for sure. Huh. Yeah. Here, I'll try and move away from the walk sign. Sorry, everybody. Alfie Witcher says, isn't this just weakening NATO in the eyes of Russia? And says, I don't think Greenland is for sale, and acquire it how? That's a good one. Yeah, so there's, I did an episode on Greenland as well, like a geopolitical episode. We discussed Greenland around probably a month or two ago now. So you can definitely check that episode out as well. We talk about the Inuit people, Eric the Red, who was the father of Leif Erikson, the explorer. The how Greenland is basically a welfare state, and it's supported by Norway. They get about half of their money from Norway, because, yeah, Z is right. There's only around 60,000 people that live on Greenland. So, so it wouldn't be particularly, yeah, it's not a large population by any means. Parker says, go back. It was soothing the beeping. All right, let's head back. Jacob says Greenland is in NATO, or is y'all for real? And says 57,000 people live there. Here. All right, should be back near the walking sign. Parker says Pam Bondi is in the files and won't release any more files. In fact, they are taking back information they released.
Yeah, and me.
Says Z responds to Jacob, not for long. Ryan says, "What? I'm not Cuban or Latino. I've just developed a tan in the past couple of days because I've been walking around DC so frequently the last several days. Gloomy today, so not as much of a sun attack, but yeah, I've started to get a little bit of a tan. Arg, all better the beeping." Crosby says Pam Bondi's protecting the swamp creatures, and says George Prestel reported for death threats. Right here. Parker says push the button. Okay.
Wait. 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 Wait.
Just Wild says just like Kirk. Ha. Army says wait, and Ryan says only one press is required. Parker says become the walk sign telling people across.
Second, walk sign is on to cross. Second, walk sign is...
Cool beans, we made it across the street, everybody, without getting hit. Ryan says, are you Jewish? I am not Jewish. Good question, though. Some people ask that from time to time. Also about the Latino thing. Are you Italian? Don't believe we're Italian either. Another good question, though, from Z. Army says, are you a lawyer or defendant? Neither. I'm actually in politics. I've worked in politics for 8 years now. Been in DC around 3.5 years. I worked in the U.S. Senate for 2 years for a senator from Indiana. And now I started this podcast, this channel, to grow, help people realize or see what actually happens in Washington, D.C. And like give you on the ground coverage. I go to protests. I go to other like demonstrations, and we do man on the street interviews and talk to people and whatnot. So would love if you guys subscribe to the channel, give the video a like. That's the best way you can support me during this time. We ascended over 500 subscribers this past weekend, so we are continuously growing each and every day. So thank you for hanging out with me this morning. Let's see. So yeah, military, I am in not involved in the legal system. Parker says cross the street when it says wait. Ryan says, can you just tell us what you are? So my family, we've never done the ancestry DNA, but we suspect we may be of German descent. But we're, as far as I know, we're standard Caucasian, white Americans. Parker says, you're an American. Don't let a sign tell you what to do. Skinny Tub says, nice eye. Thank you, Skinny. Thank you for joining the stream this morning, big man. Thank you very much. Yeah, one of my favorite ties, personally. Parker says, if you could do anything and not fail, what would you do? Run for president. So if I can't fail, that means I'd be the elected president. Yeah, I'm the chief executive of the United States, the commander and commander in chief of the U.S. Armed Forces. So a good question though. Weld says we Muslims respect a lot of Christians. Imagine we have a verse in the Quran that tells us they are not arrogant. Z says Arian LMAO. Vi says who's Tucker Carlson. Jacob says Americans out here wilding. Z says Tucker is a right-wing political commentator that used to work for Fox News, was fired, and started his own podcast. Wild says Tucker is a freedom fighter. And Parker adds, what's stopping you from being president? Vi says, who wrote the Quran? Or asks who wrote the Quran. Excuse me. What's stopping me from being president? Right now it's age. I don't meet the requirements. Vi says, prove who wrote the Quran. I'm not really sure. Maybe Wild might know. Elm 4399 says, do you believe in America first or Israel first? We are America first here. Absolutely. So yeah, America first, big man. Good question. Parker says that's ageism. I know, bro. Yeah. I mean, like the average age of a senator feels it's got to be like 65 years old, like almost retirement age is probably the average age for a senator now. It's ridiculous. What's your name? It says, who is this politician? Yes, I've been in politics for 8 years. So I wouldn't say I'm a politician per se, but I'm more in the media side of politics now. I feel like media is the best way that individually I can help the country. So yeah, I feel like starting a movement and is a great way to start. Wild says, Vidi comments are very limited on YouTube. We don't want to annoy our friend. This is my Facebook. Yeah, so some of the comments will be filtered out by YouTube automatically. I have it on the lowest setting to where as many comments as possible should be able to get through. But sometimes YouTube will be over careful, maybe. Parker says, what would you run for your reason for running and being president? And what promises do you make as president if elected? Yeah, good question. I would say putting America first, right? Deporting illegal immigrants, decoupling ourselves from foreign influence. That would be a big one, right? And making it easier for young people to start a family. All right, let's see. Got a couple of other comments here. Skinny Tubbs says, how much of your soul would be intact upon reaching the presidency? Could ask of any former president. Yeah, that's a good point. Then 777 says, nobody believes in God anymore. They believe in government instead. Lots of lost souls. Government will Government always will let you down no matter who's in charge. Dan says, asking again, how is this war legal? I thought Congress had to approve this war. Yeah, good point, Dan. So, yeah, it's just kind of, that's just the reality we're in, unfortunately, is that we are in this regime change war in Iran. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see your earlier comments. They must have gotten flagged by YouTube or something, but right, yeah, I think you make a good point, Dan. Battle says boring. What's your name says, who would believe is Smith as unreliable as Gov? Parker says families are hard to start because of the affordability. Right, that's huge, right? We have to get this under control because if we're just simply not having children, that just creates a long-term risk. Ryan Bean says, why is Carlson still being talked about? And X8G says, why would Tucker go to jail? Cole Auld says, we haven't declared war since 1941. Why do you think we would now? And Theo means, unless you mean just London and Israel, that would be positive. JLN says there's no longer science but technology. And Z adds, it seems like God was replaced by science more so than government. So hey everybody, good morning. If you're just now joining the stream, would love if you left the video a like, if you hit that subscribe button. That's the best way you can support the channel right now. We ascended over 500 subscribers last week and are looking for our next goal. So would love if you guys, if you're enjoying this conversation, we hold live streams like this all of the time. We're hosting another one tonight. We're talking about Ireland with my friend Alicia from the country. So you should definitely subscribe and tune into that tonight as well. Yeah, we're getting a pretty core group of people together now. So people that are returners, they're returning frequently, leave lots of comments, right? So we're getting, this is starting to take off a little bit.
It wouldn't help me, you know, like I feel
Ryan Beans says we declared war on or in Afghanistan and Iraq. Parker says, why would you lie to the American people? What is one policy you support that will make some of your own voters unhappy, and why is it so necessary? That's a good one. That I don't know yet right now, honestly. That's a good question. I don't just want to think of something like that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe some more traditional right-wing voters would maybe disagree. I think it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to make sure like public transit is better or safe for people, especially that don't have access to a car or can't drive, right? And if public transit is one of the more only accessible means of transportation for some people, it should be safe and it should be accessible, right? So, yeah, some of my own supporters might kind of balk at me for like public transit stuff, potentially. Because especially so the city I used to live in before wasn't particularly like a large city, right? Everyone had a car. There's no real public transit. But now living in DC, now that I've used the public transit, see so many other people use it, and realize how big of a lifeline / necessity it is for thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, if not hundreds of thousands on a weekly basis. Yeah, it always needs to be something that people are comfortable using for their necessities and to get around and to travel within the city or, community. Let's see. Marbro Short says he won't, but time will tell, probably referring to Carlson. And Robert and Laura say aren't without truth coming out. Donnie says, should Israel take over the world regime? Parker says, what is the first decision you would make in office that could cost you politically? That I'm not sure about. I think some of it would depend on current events, right? Maybe there's something going on with foreign policy, or it's just really tough to tell, honestly. So that I'm not too sure about right now. Maybe it's about AI or technology or some, you know what I mean? Like, just who knows what's going to happen, especially a decade from now. Parker says, what is one promise you will not make to voters because you know it isn't realistic? That's a good one. I think about this sometimes. I don't know if I would promise to eliminate the national debt, right? I think I would try and promise to get it to where it at least is like a net zero, right? That at least we're not adding more debt. But by the time, we're talking $40 trillion. That seems really hard to undo in a period of 4 to 8 years potentially. So that would probably be the one. I probably would not promise that. I think that would be fair. Jacob says, you're running for office? Not yet, but one of years, maybe soon. Good question, though. Parker says, if you could only accomplish one major policy goal in your first term, what would it be, and what would you be willing to give up to get it? I'd say the construction of the border wall. I think that would have to be the top. If it's not constructed, and it probably won't be, if it's not finished with construction by then, I'd be going to the Home Depot guy or whoever and say, hey, like this, we just have to build it. It's unacceptable. We have to finish it, right? And I would hold it. Nothing else gets done until the wall is done, right? So I would say to the Congress, hey, if you want your pork, big budget spending bills passed, you need to, appropriate money for this wall, and it just has to get done. No exceptions. And oh no. Yeah, hopefully everyone's okay. But yeah, I'd say that would be my big thing. Good question. Yeah, a lot of good questions, Parker. Appreciate your willingness to engage with me this morning. What problem facing the country is your party wrong about? What belief have you changed your mind in the last 10 years, and what caused that change? Wow, these are really good. For the party thing, that I'm not as sure about, because the parties, they kind of change their minds all the time. But I'm sure there's something if I had a little more time. And what belief have you changed your mind about in the last 10 years, and what caused that change? I'd say a big one is probably like my interest in geopolitics as a whole, like caring more about what happens in the world other than just American politics and American elections. Like, I have a much stronger interest in like geopolitics and conflicts and stuff like that. So I'd say I've became a little more isolationist in the past couple of years. But not maybe a libertarian isolationist per se, just more of a skeptic of conflicts. So sounds good, Parker. Yeah, Parker, just send him the YouTube channel and have him join future streams. That might be better. Or tell him follow me on YouTube, follow me on X or something like that. But yeah, you should probably have him do that. first instead of me like trying to reach out to him with this information. I appreciate the offer. It's just, yeah, it is still, and it's not that I don't trust you by any means. It's just, yeah, if he kind of follows me on here, and then he can say hi, I'm Parker's friend or whatever, then we could chat that way instead. I think that might be a little better. So, yeah, good question, Parker. Yeah, thank you for the engagement today. Been making me think a little bit. Yeah, hey everybody, if you're just now joining, would love if you left the video a like, if you hit that subscribe button. That's the best way you can support the channel at this moment. We ascended over 500 subs recently, so we are growing each and every day still. Eric asked, what did Tucker do? He released a video statement this past weekend or on Friday or something, claiming that his messages were being read through by the government, and because maybe he's talking to Iran or whatever, and so he made these claims about governments going through his messages to kind of see what he's talking about. Now the U.S. government response, there hasn't been a response, or they've denied it, something like that. And some people online are speculating he may go to jail or something. So, some pretty wild stuff there. But he released a statement on his channel the other day about it. So nothing that like typically would put you in jail, but some people are just a little think that maybe he might go to jail or something. Parker says he's working on his major now. He's a high-functioning autistic, but a fast learner, and he's great with questions as well. Awesome, dude. Yeah, have him subscribe to the channel and whatnot, and we'll definitely chit-chat with him next time. Yeah, we try to take all questions, engagement, whatnot, so... Planet says Tucker made the juice mad for telling the truth, and that's what some people are saying. That's for sure. And Iceman USA says, "Do you know about Crockett's security guard getting deleted?" I did see that. Yeah, wasn't that? Or I at least saw some parts of it. Right, that there was some kind of conflict going on. And he got right in the middle of it or something. But I did see there was a conflict with the security guard and law enforcement. So it's pretty frightening stuff there for sure. Let's see. All right, everybody, it's a little past 12 now. Let's do a couple more minutes, and then I'll probably get to work or something. We had a great stream this morning. Like, we're up to 675 votes on the poll. That's amazing. I think that's one of the most active polls we've ever had on the stream. So that's excellent news. We've had a pretty consistent view rate, right? There's around 24 at a time, at least, if not 24. It ranges from, on average, probably 15 to 50 people today. So, yeah, definitely appreciate your guys's continued support through this channel. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button so you can join us on future streams as well. We are out here grinding. Ascended over 500 subscribers the other day, this past weekend. So we'll be doing a special for you guys here soon. And we're going to be talking about Ireland. tonight as well. So you'll want to be here for that. Dial Up says the top 1% of Jews are a real problem. Makes the rest of the world, or makes the rest of them look bad. And Parker, with another great question, says, what's the most serious mistake you've made in leadership, and what did you learn from it? Not really sure. Like, I've made it, everyone makes mistakes, right? We're all human and whatnot. I've made like some maybe generic kind of work mistakes, like forgot to check an email or whatever. But yeah, maybe just trying to be more aware of everything going on, right? Just being a little more organized when possible, and stuff like that. So good question. But nothing that's like ever threatened job security or whatever like that. So great chat. Yeah, definitely a great chat today, Skinny. So yeah, we had a ton of comments today. Yeah, all over the place. So absolutely, yeah, another great stream. So wonderful stream. So yeah, I think we're yeah, thank you. Yeah, everyone, please. I'll second Z's comment. Says, don't forget to like and sub if you enjoyed the stream. Yeah, thank you there. Yeah, thank you everybody for joining today. Probably going to hop off here in the next couple seconds. We are from Washington, D.C., sir. Here in the nation's capital, we talk politics all the time. So would love to have you on the next stream. And Parker, yeah, man, definitely. Yeah, feel free to shoot me a message on Twitter sometime or something. Happy to talk with any of you guys. The Twitter page is at Awoken W Aulden, or leave a comment on this video or something. We can chit chat, but always looking to get to know my fans a little better. But yeah, we're at 682 votes for the poll, so that's great. But okay, everybody, think we're going to end it here. Just want to say thank you guys for checking in today. Nice getting to know you guys a little better, meet some new people. And yeah, wonderful conversation. We'll be back again tonight, so you definitely want to come back around 8:15 this evening. We'll be talking about Ireland and the Irish, Guinness, the good old lads in Ireland. So you definitely want to be here for that. But I think we're going to end it here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Thank you, Z, for being a great moderator per usual. And we'll see you guys later today. So, yeah, please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the stream. And you have been awoken with Aulden. All right, much love, everybody. Have a wonderful day.